Hello, and welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday, where I'm going to be sharing a simple tip to help you integrate technology in your existing classroom. This week, we're going to be looking at Pear and a few newish features that can really help you engage students and ultimately teach smarter. There's four main things that we're going to be looking at in this video. The first one are the Pear Deck views, and specifically how you can utilize a student view while you are teaching with Pear Deck. The second thing is their new shared teacher dashboard, which is a brand new feature and really helpful if you have a co-teacher. Number three is we're going to be talking about how to add audio clips to your slide deck. And then number four, we're going to talk about how to use the timer. Now, if you would like to jump ahead, if you don't need to see all these different things, I'm going to put a little timestamp right here so you can see when you can jump ahead in the video to catch the specific topic you would like to see. All right, so let's get started. So first things first, I have already opened up a Pear Deck, or I've already started a Pear Deck presentation, and that's what you're seeing on my screen right now. And we're going to talk about the views for Pear Deck. So with Pear Deck, you have really three different ways to see it, the views. So the first view is what you have as the projector view. So that means this is what you want to be putting up on your screen or your TVs or however you display your work. If you're on a Zoom meeting using Pear Deck, this is like what you would be sharing. This is the screen you would be sharing with your students. It's what you're teaching from that you're showing them. The second view is the teacher dashboard, and what that is, I'll drag this over here, is basically your control. Now this is something, when I teach from Pear Deck, I will normally pull up my teacher dashboard on my iPad so I can be walking around the room controlling the Pear Deck without having to go back to my main computer or go back to my smartboard or whatever it is that you're using. So you can control the Pear Deck from wherever you're standing. So this has, all the previews of the slides off on the side. It has some different features, things you can add, but this is the teacher dashboard. The third view is the student view. And I've got that going right here on the screen here. And you'll notice the student view is actually incredibly similar to the presentation view, which is what I am now showing. It says presenting down here. That's how you know it's presentation. So the student view has a couple things, just to know, is that basically that's just where they're going to see the presentation. Now, when from your dashboard or even from your presentation view, you can control some of the things that they see, some additional things, but this is what the student's going to see on their own device. Now, the reason why I say it's important to also log in as a student, so to kind of clarify, when I am running a Pear Deck, I have my view, that's the display view, and then I will have on another tab, I will go to joinpd.com and type in my join code and join as a student myself. So I am actually in the presentation as a student as well as I'm presenting it as a teacher. The reason why I like to do this is because when you get to a slide, so this is, again, the presentation view. I'm going to skip ahead to a slide. Let's see, I'm going to skip to a slide that has something to do on it. Okay, so now this is a drawing slide. Now on this slide, I'm asking the students to fill out this chart. And so just to kind of show everything here, so I've got my chart here in my teacher dashboard. I'll drag that over again. This is what I'm seeing. As students start to respond, it will show me their responses here. And then I've got my slide previews over here, some controls down here at the bottom. But the reason why I like to also log in as a student is sometimes you need to demonstrate what you want the students to be doing on this slide. So if I'm projecting this screen, I can click on my tab and hop over, and now I'm projecting a student view. And so say, like for this, for example, the directions actually stay, even though this is a drawing slide. What I want the students to do is grab this little text box, and they're going to draw a text box to put in their answer here. So they're supposed to write the name of a person that they talk to online. So I'm going to put my mom. Okay. So So this would be a way I can show them what to do and show them as an example. This is extremely helpful, especially I would think if you teach math, for example, if you're giving students a problem to work through, you can pull up the student view and work through some of it, maybe as to demonstrate first while they're working at it on their own. So it kind of just opens up what you can do with Pear Deck a little bit more when you understand how to work these views and how to also add yourself as a student into the presentation. So the next thing we want to cover also is the shared teacher dashboard. Now this is a brand new feature. I'm going to drag my dashboard over and enlarge it to kind of show how this works. Now this is a really cool feature because if you teach in a classroom where you co-teach, or if you have maybe if you have a student that you're even going to highlight as a expert on a topic and you want them to help present something, or maybe you have a para in the room and you want them to be on this as well, to be able to check through student answers as they're filling in the different interactive pieces of Pear Deck. The neat thing about this is basically all you have to do to add another teacher is when you're in your teacher dashboard, down here at the bottom where you have a handful of different things you can do, there's your little snowman menu, which is the 3 dots. It's like a snowman. We're going to click on that. And there's just now an option that says invite co-teacher. So in order to invite the co-teacher, you're going to need to send them this link. So it just gives you a link. I'm going to click copy. It says it's going to expire in 1 week. So the link isn't permanent essentially, but it's fine for whatever you're doing in your class that day. So we're going to copy that link. We're going to either send it in an email or a message or just something really quick to that co-teacher. They can click on the link, and what it's going to do, it will make sure they sign in. So they do have to sign in with their same Google account. But when that teacher logs in, then they're going to also have this same teacher dashboard. Now, like I said, one reason why this is really nice is when you have those interactive elements in your Pear Deck. So say you're asking a question, and it's, Pear Deck is fantastic for formative assessment, and you ask a question and you need to see student responses. Well, sometimes you, as the, teacher who's originated this, may need to be walking around the room, discussing something with a student or helping someone specifically. And you need a separate pair of hands to be flipping through answers and making sure, maybe everything's appropriate to display, or maybe does someone need specific feedback, or things like that. So the co-teacher or the additional person who you have on here, they can start to look through the responses, which is really handy. You can also switch back and forth, which makes for a really nice co-teaching environment. So you could, the co-teacher could all of a sudden start, running the slides, and you can start doing something else. So it just opens up a lot of just kind of ability to use Pear Deck in a more versatile way. The nice thing too, that is kind of on the same topic, but also new-ish with Pear Deck, is they also now have this feature where you can leave feedback. And this is a really handy feature with the shared teacher dashboard as well. So say one teacher in the classroom is, going through the slides and talking and, verbalizing some of this with the students, and another teacher could be going through and looking at all the responses that are coming in from students. And maybe they see one that, they need extra help or they need something. If you click this little feedback thing, it opens up kind of like a text box. And I could say, please try again, or give them some comment, or I could say excellent work, something along those lines. And so I'm going to say send feedback. And then I'm going to kind of exit out of this. So I'm going to show you. So I left that feedback actually on myself as a student. So let me drag my teacher dashboard out for a second, and I'll pop back over to my student view. So this is me as a student on here again. So now you'll see down here at the bottom right corner, there's this little text bubble, and I can click on it, and it tells me what the feedback is. It shows that I have a thing that says excellent work, and I can click mark as read. And so now there's a way to kind of communicate with the students through that too. And like I said, that's a fantastic feature if you're doing this with a co-teacher. honestly, leaving the feedback is kind of tricky if you're like running the slides and doing it all on your own. But if you've got that co-teacher and you're using that shared teacher dashboard, that becomes a really valuable tool to use. So that's something that you can use also in regards to that. The last two things we're going to cover are pretty quick. So hopefully these will go faster than what I've gone through so far. So the first thing is using this audio feature, which is a neat thing that Pear Deck has recently added. And the way you use this is I'm going to open up. So this is my Google Slides when I'm editing it from Google Slides before like the deck has even launched. So now when I have opened up my Pear Deck menu and I've got all my different Pear Deck options over here on the side, you know, all this stuff is the same as it has been before, except for now we have this thing that says add audio to slide. So now if I click this, it's going to open up a little window and give me this audio recorder. Now the important thing to know is you do have to have a microphone plugged in order for this to work. If you're sitting at a basic desktop computer and you don't have a webcam or anything plugged in, you may not be able to do this. But if you just plug in a simple webcam, or if you're doing this like on your Chromebook, or a laptop, generally those have a built-in microphone, you can do this very easily. But we're just going to click, and actually I should say, here, let me open up one that doesn't have, because that I already recorded something. Okay, so it's going to load it. So it'll give me a button to click record, or I can upload if I've already made an audio somewhere else, and then it will add that to the slide. Let me open the one I've already done. So this one, I did this earlier. I just thought, you know, sometimes maybe if a student struggles with reading, or maybe especially if you have a really young student, or maybe you have even a student who is older but they have dyslexia and they need just some of that audio support. So you can add this audio to the slide, and it's going to add this little graphic up here in the top right corner that just says audio included. Now what the student is going to see, let me get to my student view. Let me get on to that slide actually. Let's see, where is that slide? Here it is. Okay, so from my student view, when the students are looking at this, they'll see that little icon or graphic that says audio included. And then down here in the right hand corner, there's a little pair of headphones. Now when they click on that, it's going to open up this little, I know it's small, but you see this down here in the corner. It's 17 seconds long, and then I click play.
Activity directions. Think about who you interact with at math.
Okay, I'm not going to play that whole thing, but it just reads what's on the page, and that was me recording it. So so you can record exactly what it says. Maybe you want to add an extra little thing, but it adds that nice little audio element. So if you need text to speech, and that is something that just would be useful in your classroom, that's right there. So that's a really handy feature that Pear Deck has recently added that I just feel like is fantastic. The other last thing I want to talk about quickly is the timer for student responses. Now this is something that you use in the teacher dashboard, and you'll want to be on a slide that has a response, that has an interactive element to it. So on this slide, you know, students are supposed to be filling out this chart. Sometimes, you know, maybe you've got a group of students who just gets right on it and does what they're supposed to do, but more often than not, you need to kind of give them some sort of parameters. So for this, I will say, okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do this slide, and you need to be done in 3 minutes. So when I put my mouse over lock screens and I just click on it and hold, this little thing pops up and allows me a few different places where I can click. So it gives me a 30-second, a 1 minute, or a 3 minute. So I'm going to click on 3 minutes. Now my slide has a timer for 3 minutes. Let me drag this out of here. So you'll see on the student view where they are supposed to be filling this out, they have a timer up here, and it's actually when I put my mouse on it, it moves. I think that's maybe so they know they can't click on it, but then that gives them a timer so they can see how much time they have. It also shows up on my presentation view, so I know that I have a time that's showing on my screen somewhere. When this time runs out, the screen will be locked. So for example, it'll go to just that locked screen. And so then the students will see, you know, your teacher's left your responses and they can't change it anymore, which is a really nice feature. So, and like you kind of just saw, if I need to end it early, so say I give the students 3 minutes, they're 2 minutes in and everyone's done, we don't just have to sit there for that minute to wait for it to get finished. I can lock it manually also, but it just gives them that extra little visual of how much time they have left. Okay, so those are 4 new features with Pear Deck. Thanks for watching this video. It ended up being a lot longer than I had planned, but I definitely appreciate you watching and really hope that these things are things that are useful in your classroom. So anyway, have a great Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if there's other tech tips you want me to cover over Tech Tip Tuesday, and we'll go from there. All right, have a good one.